It's episode 17! Well, hello, good morning, and welcome to the Young Punks FM, the best in new electronic music coming at you live from London Bridge, England, and also the best of old electronic music today, because we have, finally, I've been threatening it for a couple of months, Howard Jones, the godfather of synth pop, in the studio with me. In fact, he was in the studio with me last week. I recorded this, and I'm going to put the pre-recorded interview in a moment. And I said hello and good morning, which, for a change, is actually true. It is 9 o'clock on a Friday morning at the moment, which is a bit of an ungodly hour for me to be doing this. Why, you ask? Why would I, a person from the musical community, be even awake at 9 in the morning? I think it's because it's kind of an extension of last night, Thursday night, which was the Mix Mag magazine 25 years anniversary party, which basically consisted of every DJ in the UK stuffed into one extremely small bar in Hoxton.
You're sweet.
It was kind of hellish, but it was sort of like the office party for the dance music industry. Yeah, it was quite fun. However, I only got back from that at 5 in the morning and I went to sleep, and then what I forgot is that my cleaner comes round on Friday, and so I was woken a couple of hours later by a middle-aged woman shouting in Spanish on her mobile phone in the room next to me, which really gave me quite a shock. So then I had to get up, so I wasn't kind of in the house when the cleaner was there, because, I know, it's just kind of embarrassing, isn't it? And so I came to do the podcast, which sounds like this.
My dear, prim and proper, a girl who's never been kissed. Well, I'm tired of being pure and not chaste.
I wanna go to the devil, I wanna be evil, I wanna spit tax, I wanna be evil and cheat at jacks. I wanna be wicked, I wanna tell lies, I wanna be mean and throw my ties. I wanna be I wanna be I wanna be I wanna go to the devil, I wanna be
Chase.
I wanna go to the devil, I wanna be.
You're listening to the Young Punks FM podcast.
I wanna be evil. I wanna spit tax. I wanna be evil and cheat at jacks. I wanna be wicked. I wanna tell lies. I wanna be mean and roll my eyes. I wanna be evil. I wanna spit tax. I wanna be evil and cheat at jacks. I wanna be wicked. I wanna tell lies. I wanna be mean and roll my eyes. I wanna be mean and roll my eyes. I wanna be mean and roll my eyes.
You're sweet, my dear.
What do you think of that? Yeah, I haven't really been doing remixes much recently. I kind of remixed myself out a year or so ago. But I did decide to do this remix. This is the Young Punks remix of a track called Evil by an act called Giant Junior. And they asked me to do the remix, and I really liked the track. So I did it. Yeah, that's a great anecdote, isn't it? They asked me to do a remix, I did the remix. Now, check this out. Coming in the background is Light Years by Supermal, the Phonat remix. Basically a big team effort by me and my mates. Supermal, you may know, did the Bigger Than Big track with Luciana recently. I collaborated with them on this track called Light Years, and then Phonat in the room next door did this amazing remix of it, and it got played by Pete Tong for the first time last Friday. And we like it. It goes like this. Sticking in my mind about last night now. It was actually quite good to have lots of DJs there at once. I got to see Goldie playing Inner City Live, which was, I know, not the kind of thing I do normally on an evening. It was quite good. And Tim Westwood DJing, which I wouldn't normally do. But the main thing I remember is, only very vaguely, I was standing with Sharouz and he made a fairly offensive comment, so I sort of playfully hit him, sort of a matey knock. But that meant that he dropped his entire pint of beer. It shattered and exploded on the ground, sending a pint of beer and broken glass onto godfather of UK hip-hop, Tim Westwood, who gave us a sort of look where if it was an episode of CSI, it would have all kicked off with knives and guns and things, but instead he gave me the I'm the son of a vicar, I'm not going to shoot you, really kind of, but I hate you look. Anyway, yeah, we did spill beer all over Tim Westwood, which probably wasn't a good idea. Sorry, Tim.
Could be second best. You what you're getting at, and you like this for me now. Like this for me now.
The second thing I remember about last night is after the party, we went to the Notional After Party, which was at Bar Aquarium. Have you ever been to Bar Aquarium? It's more than an aquarium. It's a bar with... Well, I thought it just had a hot tub. It has a whole swimming pool and a hot tub in it. It's a very un-London thing. And it was one of those things which I think usually I only ever see on episodes of CSI when they have some ridiculous club that never happens in the real world. There's a swimming pool full of girls in their underwear. You had to pay £1 to go in, but we didn't. We just sort of stood around going, that's strange, there's girls in their underwear, covered in water. I think you can picture the scene. So it doesn't just happen in episodes of CSI where they have ridiculous clubs. It happens in the real world. Quite surprising. Not a normal night out. So this was Light Years by Supermal, co-write with the Young Punks, featuring Laura Kidd on vocals and Phonat on the remix. Quite a big team effort. This is also Serious Mo, All the Girls Get Down. It sounds like this. And after you've heard this, it will be time for... Drum roll. Time for Howard Jones' special interview on the Young Punks FM podcast.
All the girls get down. Get up. All the girls get down. All my girls get up.
It would be great if there was a CSI Hoxton. I'd like to apply to be in that. I'd like to have the role of being David Caruso. Not because he's the lead actor in the world's most successful TV show, which he is at the moment, but because you get to do this thing where just before the titles run at the beginning of the show, you get to either take your sunglasses off or put them on. Either will do. I'm going to take my glasses off to do this, but take my glasses off and say a meaningful line like...
All the girls get down.
Not like all the girls get down. It would work. Take my sunglasses off and go...
Well, that's why crime doesn't pay.
All the girls get down. Get up.
Take off my sunglasses and go...
Well, where you're going, you'll have a lot of time to think about that.
Put sunglasses on.
That's why people like me are here to protect you from people like him.
Let's hear it for David Caruso.
All the girls get down. Get up.
Good girls get Good girls get down. Good girls get Good girls get down.
1 2 1 2 2. So, My guest today in the studio is none other than synth pop legend Howard Jones.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Hal. Thanks. I prefer to be called Synth Wizard, actually.
Synth
if
Wizard.
That's okay.
But you were the pioneer of this kind of live performance of multiple synths.
Yeah.
For me, if I think about what got me interested in playing electronic music to start off with, I have a very specific image, and it's you on top of the pops,
All right.
surrounded by about 6 or 7 keyboards, the rig, probably playing this keyboard solo to What Is Love, with Jed doing his mime dance.
Surrealist.
People, synths have been creeping into music, but I don't think anyone had ever seen in a pop context like this one guy working with all the machines to make the sound. How did that come about?
Well, it came about. I mean, I played the piano since I was 7, so I loved any instrument that had keys on it. I was the kid who was down the Hammond organ showroom on a Saturday afternoon, and they couldn't get rid of me. Playing the B3s and the C3s, keys that I'd never thought I'd ever be able to afford. And so with the advent, I was there at the Isle of Wight Festival in 1970 when Keith Emerson came out with his Wardrobe Moog. And made the most incredible sounds, and I was 14, and I just thought this is the most exciting thing in the world for a keyboard player. And he used to stick knives in it as well.
So you can get the software version of it now, but you can't stick the knives in it.
No, you can't. And it was all out of tune, and he was wrestling with the oscillators, all that stuff. So for me, when the keyboard when the actual keyboards came down to about 250 quid, I could just about afford, to buy a Moog Prodigy. And so, at that point, my imagination just took off, and I thought, well, why didn't I accumulate a lot of keyboards around me? And then somebody lent me an old drum machine. It was a Bentley Rhythm Ace.
Oh, wow.
Which is the precursor of Roland drum machines. It's actually the Roland company.
Yeah.
Sort of this idea of a one-man keyboard band that you could go out and do gigs with, and that's where it started, really.
So my first memory of this whole thing would be New Song. That's what I remember as the breakthrough record. Was that the first track you had that really kind of made it into the mainstream consciousness?
Yeah, I mean, it was the first single.
Yeah.
That's where the overnight success came from.
Well, I think that the production, the overnight success after the previous 20 years working on it. Or
exactly, yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I think that track sounds as fresh now as it did then, really, because a lot of those 80s synth sounds are back in vogue again, with the likes of Calvin Harris and Justice and so on, using those kind of very, very dry, clean early 80s sounds. And I'm going to play it now.
How great.
So that people can hear Howard Jones in, what was it, 1982?
83.
83.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this. Dig it, get it.
was New Song by Howard Jones, ironically his oldest song. Now, at that point, you had quite a lot of keyboards, which to me looked like quite an expensive rig. But you sort of appeared suddenly on the scene. Had you been sort of incrementally building this collection over the years, because it looked like you had to be pretty rich to have that many keyboards, but obviously you wouldn't have been when you released your first record.
Well, it's a weird I mean, I was not. I came from a working class background. I was doing like 6 or 7 jobs just to keep my my keyboard habit up.
Was there a pickle factory involved?
Well, I was actually worked in a cling film factory for quite a while. But I did also, not only that, I was teaching piano. I was helping out a friend with his business, and I was I had like 3 or 4 things on the go. To be able to afford. I mean, a Jupiter 8 I think was like £8,000.
That's a lot in old money, isn't it?
And it is. So every penny went into the gear, and my lovely wife Jan, supported me with all that stuff. But it was like, as soon as a new piece of kit came out like that, I mean, I had to have it because I was, trying to do something brand new and trying to, create a whole new way of making music. So I just had to have the stuff.
Now, of course, these days you can do the majority of all that stuff just on a laptop with software. How do you think that the new software versions compare to the old synths?
Well, I mean, I think they make great noises, the software synths, and I do enjoy them, but I enjoy more programming a synth with the knobs and the sliders and the faders. And I actually can get further doing that. It just seems more... I can create the sounds I want more easily. I mean, Roland just brought out a synth called the SH201, and there's not even any proper memories on it, and it's just got knobs and faders, and I can get the sounds I want much quicker than I can on a software. But I probably need to do more work to do that. Because
these old synths you largely abandoned for many years, and then a couple of years ago you kind of got them out of the cupboard again and did a gig using them. How did that go?
It was great because I thought it'd be nice for people to see actually where I started from. So, the 808 drum machine sending out a trigger to the Pro 1 and the Juno 60 arpeggiating along with it, and me playing the bass with left hand and leads with the right. And I thought it'd be fun for me to do again, and also fun to see what for people to see where I started. And it actually was the hardest bit of the show to remember how to do all that.
Yeah, you're sort of wrestling with technology.
Yeah.
You have to program one something in, then press play, and then run over and start programming something else. And
and there was a weird anomaly with the Pro 1 in that it had an 8-note sequencer in it, but you had to put the last note in first for it to work. So you're thinking, you're doing the maths, right? The last note of the sequence goes in first, and then you start, and then you leave the last note off. It's bizarre. And so that's how I kind of... I used to have tapes to go on during that programming process, so some sort of cassette tapes that would play background music, just so people wouldn't get too bored while I was doing it all.
So you have to actually basically stop the show, reprogram the keyboards, then get on with the next one. Yeah. Well, it's certainly become easier in some ways, but I think there's a certain fun in those old sounds.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've still got the Prodigies and the Juno 60s, the Jupiter 8, the Pro 1.
I thought what I'd like to do is to play the track "Just Look at You Now."
Right, great.
From your last sort of synth-based album.
Yeah.
Just 3 or 4 years old, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I like about this is, I mean, over the years, you've always sounded like Howard Jones, but you've maybe started off as a synth act, then done some solo piano work, and done some more conventional rock band kind of setups.
Yeah.
This album for me was, if you like, all new music, and it sounded new and contemporary, but it was an echo of your early synth work. So having played New Song before, now we'll play a new song, Just Look at You Now, which I think has a lot of the same spirit to it, even though it's a recent track. Bing, 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 bing.
Great.
I've known you since you were a girl, when things just didn't work out for you. I said don't crack up and see both sides, but you kept on blaming the world for everything. I said things can only get better, dear, but they won't if you don't lift a finger to help me. What's the point in taking this human form if we can't understand the point of living here? Who would ever want to live alone without sharing this world with everyone and everything? Just look at you now, riding on a silver wave that keeps on going through the sun and through the rain, through the good and the bad times, through the joy and through the pain. Hey, look at you now, see what you've become.
See what you've become. See what you've become. Hey, look at you now. See what you've become.
Hey, just look at you now, riding on a silver wave that keeps on going through the sun and through the rain, through the good and the bad times, through the joy and through the pain. Hey, look at you now, see what you've become. See what you've become.
So that track was Just Look At You Now by Howard Jones from the Revolution of the Heart album. Now that track was, if you like, the first track that brought us together to work together, because I had emailed your manager saying that we'd like to remix some of your work.
Yeah, and he sent it to me, and I said, I get sent stuff all the time. And I said, I really, really like the Young Punks. I think that I mean, this has a spirit about it. And you sent me some kind of live DJ mixes of new song that you've done.
Right, yeah.
And I think it was more than that. It was a few tracks. And I said to Joe, I really, really like these guys, and I really want them to, if they're up for it, to do some mixes for me.
So we did a remix of Revolution of the Heart, the track that I just played, but that wasn't the Young Punks mix. But while we were working on that, we revisited some of your old tracks and found the Now Is Time. Which was from
Like to Get to Know You Well.
Like to Get, yes, it was the middle eight.
Middle eight, yeah.
Or, sort of, I know, it happens a couple of times in the song.
It does. It comes twice.
It's a song with two middles.
Yeah.
Of Like to Get to Know You Well. So Like to Get to Know You Well, it sounds like this. But then, this was in the era just before kind of Call On Me and all those kinds of tracks, and sampling an 80s pop song was quite a fun thing to do. It's been quite a little bit overexposed over the following years, but we turned it as the Young Punks into this track called Slip Away, and through contractual reasons we released it under the name Mojito. But this is Slip Away by the Young Punks under the name Mojito, remixed by Steve Angelo in Sweden, featuring Howard Jones on vocals. And this was the first of our tracks that featured any Howard Jones.
It did very well, especially in Australia, didn't it? It was a big hit in Australia.
I think it could have been a chart record in the UK if it had the right breaks, but it hasn't the right breaks. Yeah, it's quite a good track. Check this out. quite a lot of people seem to be sampling your work at the moment, and only some of them seem to be able to manage to get the clearance to actually officially put the tracks out. But there's a few big ones floating around that will be coming out. Do you get a sense that... I'm wondering what the relationship is between you and the modern dance community, because they certainly seem to be, you know, very willing to sample a lot of your work. Do you get a lot of interest from modern dance producers, and how much is your current work influenced by what's going on in contemporary dance music?
Great question. Well, yeah, I do get a lot of the the new dance guys sending me stuff, and I mean, it seems like almost every week somebody's come up with a remix of some part of one of the old songs, which I think is great, because it means the songs are standing the test of time, and I like it when somebody gives them a new twist, and it seems to be that there's a certain anthemic quality to certain parts of the songs that work well on the dance floor,
and bits when you hit the high notes really seem to work in a club environment.
I suppose I never really thought of that, but but you're right. So I think, I mean, not all of the stuff that comes through I feel like pursuing any further, because it doesn't sound like because I've become familiar with dance music because of so many people sending me stuff. You kind of know what's the real deal and what isn't, and so I am a bit choosy about who it goes out with.
I think there's a couple of tracks floating around recently which we should probably play.
Yeah.
We've been working today on it's called The Feel Goes On in its current name, but it's Pearl in the Shell was the original track. It's been sampled by Cedric Gervais. It's going to be released soon on Ministry of Sound Records, and we've been working in the studio here reproducing the old recording of your voice so that there's like a new re-recorded version of it. But let's this is what the original Howard Jones song sounded like back in the day. Now that sounds great, but it's really too fast for a house track, and the time stretching to make it slower made it all a bit grungy. So what we've done today, Howard and I, is record this. So that was recorded today, which you'll see is basically the same thing as the 80s version, but at a slower rate, which means it's going to be dropped into the house track and come out much cleaner and make a modern house track that sounds like this. Incidentally, this version of the track, The Feel Goes On by Cedric Gervais versus Howard Jones, isn't the version using the new version we recorded today. It's the version using the old sample. I don't know if you can hear, it's all a bit because he had to slow down the old recording. So hopefully the finished version will sound even better than this once we've dropped today's recording into it. I've personally heard about 6 or 7 different remixes of this. Which is your favourite of them? Do you think we should play?
I think we should play the Eric Prydz. That is the definitive mix. And the reason I particularly like it is that he uses the sample in 2 different keys, and that's not very common in dance music, is it? That people will actually shift it up to, another key.
It's very unusual.
Very unusual.
In fact, normally people will sample a track and just remove any bits where there's chord changes or key changes, and he's actually keeps moving the key around, which has very unusual sounds.
Yeah, and it kind of gives a sort of big lift every time you hear it. When it goes up to the high, it goes up a tone, I think. So I really love this, and I think you can get it on some sort of PlayStation game called FIFA Soccer 19 whatever. So
I think it's the FIFA 2007 game on EA Games, which I know because it's got one of my tracks on as well.
Oh, fantastic!
I think probably a very successful meeting for our man. Right, so this is Eric Prydz's remix of Things Can Only Get Better by Howard Jones, which he called Do You Feel Scared? But we're going to call Things Can Only Get Better because that's what it really is. And it sounds like this. One of the masters of electronic music, remixing one of the other masters of electronic music, Howard Jones. So finally, what is next for Howard Jones? What are you working on at the moment?
Well, the big excitement that I've been involved in is working on this new electronic duo with Robbie Bronneman, and we're trying to make an electronic show that we can tour without taking 5 tons of equipment with us. So basically, I've got one keyboard that I can pick up at each show. Robbie's got a laptop, a bus-powered keyboard, and a bus-powered interface, and he can put that into his case, and we can just travel light and do the show wherever we want to. So that's the aim, and I think we've got there this time.
Because you've been touring in the States quite a lot just recently, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right. I go every year to do the acoustic show, and people, they're a bit shocked at first, and then they get into it, and you know, and it's good fun. But I know that a lot of people really want to sort of hear the synth stuff again, and to hear that. So it's a way of, you know, being able to do both really, and you know, I'm putting a band together as well, you know, for the rest of the year.
I should tell people about. We were just talking about it before, but Howard's always been quite a pioneer of different ways of doing live gigs, and there's something that I remember we were talking about earlier is this thing where every gig gets recorded live, and then at the end of the show you can buy a CD of that night's show, including artwork, including that night's
digital
photography. Now this all sounds like, oh, that's quite a good idea, that's innovative, but we're talking about 1991 or something here, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right. It was, I mean, I suppose it was, a lot of people have kind of taken this on and built huge businesses around it. But we actually took out the CD burners and the you know, colour printer, the whole thing, and we were able to give people a CD at the end of the night, and it was very exciting. And we didn't always achieve it because, you know, too many people wanted them, and we had to post them on. But
this is in the days before people even had mobile phones in context, isn't it? So, you know, it was quite a pioneering thing to do.
Yeah, it was. It was great fun. It was frenetic backstage after every show, and of course we had to. Whatever happened during the show, whether the equipment went down or whatever, we just had to go with that. So you basically you got this as it was.
Yeah.
As it was. If there was a screw up during the show, then you'd get that as well. So it's very honest.
Are they worth a lot now?
They are. Yeah, some of them go. There's some rare gigs that go for like £700 or £800, I think. So that's not bad, is it?
Yeah, I'll have to start doing that.
Yeah, because there's a collection of 17 of them.
I was just thinking about a thing, I know it's off topic, thinking about mobile phones and how back then people didn't have mobile phones. How do we survive? I always like it when there's a science fiction movie and it's maybe
The year is 2034.
and they're like going around in their silver jetpacks flying through space.
Yeah.
But they don't actually have a mobile phone to call each other and say, oh, do you want to come over here? Because people didn't... In 1991, nobody thought of the idea of everyone having a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Technology going all at the wrong speed. So, thank you, Howard Jones, for coming to see us at the Young Punks FM, the best in new electronic music, coming at you live from London Bridge, England. We will play more of your things in the future.
Well, thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for having me on your podcast. I'm very, very honoured.
You have your own podcast, actually, don't you?
Yes.
Do you want to tell people where to find that?
Yeah, you know, you go to iTunes, Howard Jones. You can get it there, or on the website howardjones.com.
And how often is that put out, and what kind of things are there in it?
It's a kind of... We try and do it every month. Usually ends up once every 2 months. And what it is basically stuff that I've been recording in the studio. I play little snippets and talk about how things go. I'm recording a new album at the moment. But I'm also, on the last tour, I actually recorded audiences saying things like, hello from New York and hello from Pittsburgh. And I'm desperate for people to hear it because it's really great. And I'm going to put that in the next podcast being recorded this week.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Howard Jones.
Thank you, Hal.
Well, now, normal service is resumed as we return to the Young Punks FM podcast. Some normal house music that doesn't involve Howard Jones singing. And this is the incredible, and I really mean incredible, Fred Falk, 9:09 p.m. at the beach, which is one of my favourite tracks at the moment.
You're listening to the Young Punks FM podcast.
Bring me your love.
Yes, you have been listening to the Young Punks FM podcast with myself, Hal Ritson of the Young Punks. Visit us at theyoungpunks.com, theyoungpunx.com, with my special guest star, and it was a star this time, not just Simon or Nathan or Phonat, who was the one and only Howard Jones. This track is the very exciting Discount Rhinos with Grab That Hoodie. Now that's what I call a title for a track. And before that, Fred Falk with 9:09 p.m. at the beach. Thank you for your delightful company. We'll be back soon with another podcast. If you want to talk to me, then just email me on podcast@theyoungpunks.com. I hope you have a nice day. I might go to bed soon. That would be good. Ow! Come on! Chickahoo! The lonely days are gone. Play some roads on the end of the podcast.
Yeah, great idea.
Yeah, but now you've walked in on it.
Well, you're recording with the microphone.
Yeah.
You're not recording by...
No, I just started playing. Should we have tequila again? Can you sing it? Yeah, that's the one. This is like the after party for a podcast, you know.
Everyone's gone home. But, I bet there's some people out there in podcast land who thought, I'm going to stop listening. In fact, they probably stopped listening when me and Howard Jones spent 10 minutes talking about different types of keyboards, which might have been a tiny bit techie. There's a few people just hanging on at the end going, oh, look, there's something extra on the end. I wonder... We've got a microphone and they've got nothing. That's a quote from next week's podcast. We'll do a TV podcast. You'll come and join me at a Young Punks gig. I'll do that as a video podcast next time. Okay, extra bonus thing to stick on the end. Have you heard the rock version of the Howard Jones song?
No.
I'll find this.
Which Howard Jones song?
I think is it What Is Love or something? Okay, those of you who are still hanging on the podcast, I'm going to find you a rock version of a Howard Jones song. But you're going to have to wait because, we've gone way past the kind of professional radio production time. Right. Right. Check this out. This is what I call a cover version. I hope you are.
The answer is they cannot love as much, nobody can. This is why I don't mind you doubting. What is love anyway? Does anybody love anybody anyway? What is love anyway? Does anybody love anybody anyway? Circumstance may lead someone away from you, not to spend the time just doubting. What is love anyway? Does anybody love anybody anyway? What is love anyway? Does anybody love anybody anyway?
Hey!
It's fine.
You like it?
Yeah.
So, there you go. Howard Jones, as you've never heard him before. Well, actually, it's a cover version by a band. I don't know what the band is at the moment. I'll find out and write it in the notes for the podcast. So, that was the end of the podcast. Really, honestly, really was.